Well, we just found out something about a new radiator that we bought, the Mishimoto radiator. I'm not happy. First of all, the bottom inlet for the water pump is a 1.5 instead of a 1 3/4 like the V8 Cherokees are, or Grand Cherokees. This is the 5.9. So we had to go use the hunt and peck method, look through what they had, and we found a 1 3/4 inch rubber hose that necked down and then turned to a 90. So we got that, and we wrote the part numbers down so if we ever needed to do it again for this radiator, this type. Second thing is, right here where your transmission line goes in, this came out. There's no thread sealant, no O-rings, no nothing. Spun in, and it's taper, and it's spun in there, and then you tighten it down. Supposedly, you tighten that down on that shoulder in on a tapered thread deep enough to seal it. It never works that way for me. So anyway, it's not sealing. So I had transmission fluid coming out of both of these, and there's nothing. There's a tapered thread that couldn't even get deep enough to seal itself off, much less anywhere else. And then around the tank, the big washer, or this, not this washer, but the washer should have been bigger. This nut's supposed to seal up around the plastic radiator tank itself. This goes into the brass tank inside for the cooling. And that's what we found, and there's no way in the world it could have not leaked the way they built it. There's nothing here to keep it from leaking, so anybody that buys a Mishimoto for a Grand Cherokee V8, or in this case a 5.9 ZJ, don't get the Mishimoto unless you know going in. I wish I'd have done it and known about it, but now I've got so much fluid in there I'd never get it all cleaned out. I would have put the 515, I think it's 515 sealant. It's a red sealant. Anyway, it's a red pipe sealant, but it's actually a thread sealant, and it's kind of a gel. It's in a tube. I think the number's 515. Don't quote me on that. I would have put that around there first, but since it is tapered, I can use regular Teflon tape, wrap, put some around it, then tighten that down. What I've done is I have a bigger washer. I'm gonna tighten this down into that tank enough to get the threads sealed here. Now, to seal the radiator itself to this flange right there, I have to have a bigger washer than what they gave me, which didn't fit anything. So yeah, go figure. And this will show you the way. If you look at the tank, you see the brass inside there. That's all that separates that hole from the antifreeze and the transmission fluid. It's not much. So this has to seal on the threads for the cooler. Then you have to seal the tank to this body and sandwich it, or sort of sandwich it. So you need a washer big enough to go over that and use this nut. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's a 10mm slot here for holding this thing and turning it. It's machined in there on purpose for that reason. But the only way to get that tank to seal like that's going to have to be a bigger washer, and use this same thin jam nut, what we call a jam nut, on there and pull it down. I think I'm going to put some 90-minute gasket maker on the bottom of this washer if I don't decide to do something else. But that's the only way you're going to seal a Mishimoto radiator, at least the way mine came out of the box. So good luck with that. I'd check that first if I ever bought another one, if I ever do.